Okay. Hi everyone, I'm here with Joe and his dad Kevin today to give you some insights into Joe's coma experience. This being your third clip and most important, you say, can you please tell us why?
Well, I started my story where I never wished us to be. We are here now in 2026, as this is all humanity would allow. I warned that humanity's current story will all lead to a short storyline of extinction. No one would believe any of the truth I spoke, even though nothing I said was a lie. Not even the part where I stated that if no one listened, my mum would die and my father would go to jail. You might have thought I was crazy. How could I know so much, and how could it all be true? Like I said in previous clips and told Dad while I was in rehab, my death and coma were perceived as 90 years to me. I spent this time with the aim of fair. That is exactly what I got, what I needed to know, from the many like universes, and with the 3 people known to me. 2 are historically known, none are currently alive. The Blue Room is where all my universal connections were united in truth. This taught me so much about existence. Most importantly, how the human virus is what causes our short story to end. There are other like universes where the human virus was not stopped. This is how I know. I call it the HV, and it has been our primary evolutionary flaw. It has claimed more lives than any disease. Ignorance is the HV's defense, and why it's so unknown, the way I unfortunately know it. And it must be investigated by science for a true life story, to let everyone know what needs to be known. I always knew I had a story of truth, as that's what I was brought up to tell. I was 31 years old when in brain rehab, early 2008, and was giving so much information about the future that I thought was being heard. My parents said they would always listen to and believe me, no matter what. Also, after we had seen a 60 Minutes episode in the 80s based on people seeing the future after comas, others not investing and missing out on the advantage to make millions, Dad told me not to worry. If you ever end up in a coma, there is no one I will listen to, except you, not even the doctors. I knew my story had to start with a unified sense of truth. I had preset memory triggers that caused me to react, aiming for the correct part. The first was when Dad mentioned the global financial crisis. I asked him what the value of gold was at the time. He said around 660 an ounce. I told him to invest it all. He chuckled and said, "What would you do if you were in my shoes?" I told Dad that I would put all the money in, sell the house, and put it all in gold. He just laughed and dismissed me. I could and would not accept this. I tried to find where my truth was being held captive. I knew about the mental triggers in my memory to a degree. I knew it was all 100% true, and I needed to be heard. Those who brought me up to only speak truth were now unknowingly crippling my mind in the most painful way.
Wow, that's a lot. Hey, Kevin, can you actually confirm all this to be true?
Yes, it is all true. It sounded so bad I didn't want it to be true. Like Joe said in Brain Rehab, his goal was to stop the cause of our extinction. That started my disbelief.
I had and still have brain damage. When I say had, I mean in the sense it was noticeable. My whole head was wrapped in a bandage. Unfortunately, this betrayed that I didn't know what I was talking about, which remained after the bandages came off. The greater and more unique your truth is, the less likely you are to be believed. Humanity never likes bedrock mathematical truth. It often infers what people don't like. Change. My truthful sense of change would have equated to the creation of Team Humanity with a starting donation of $3.33 trillion, a gift passed through me as the messenger to humanity. Nobody was on board. My parents, twin brother, or friends. Then even the law. I spoke to my lawyer in relation to my skydiving accident, and we were on 2 different pages. All he wanted was to sue. All I wanted was to take my known truth and evidence to court. The lawyer wanted none of it and called my truth hearsay. My truth was not even allowed where only truth is allowed. It's never changed, and it's still true.
So, Kevin, with just a basic knowledge of law and knowing all the details of his case that was said to be hearsay by the lawyer, do you think he had a chance in court?
Yes, I just could not understand why he didn't sue for money. He tried to make me understand that he would not be here if it wasn't for them.
So, Joe, could you please tell us why you didn't sue? If you had gone to court and your truth was revealed, what would you have expected the outcome to be?
Well, I could not blame the drop zone for saving my life, especially when I knew the real cause of my accident was not even related to skydiving. It was related to my previous near-death experience. Sure, I could have sued the drop zone for a lot of money, though that was not part of the story humanity needed. I needed the story to start with the unified truth, as I knew how the HV had so much control over the human mind. It has to be realized. Everything I said would happen, happened to the decimal place. Extinction awaits. I have gone through years of not being taken seriously from the start, and now so many millions of lives are on my shoulders. If listened to, we would have Team Humanity, not led by me, but by the brightest minds humanity has, to our next stage, which would lead us all to where we need to be. No more epic wars of pure ignorance based on the HV, which needs to go. It could be our enemy and not each other, just because we were born on different dirt on the same planet. We have all been brainwashed differently. This started at our birth. I'm not saying it is all wrong. I am just saying that I know it can be.
So what do you say about all this so far, Kevin? Do you see it all as true?
Yes, I would like to add that it was a lot for me at the time. Already having lost one son, in hindsight, Joe was far more clearer than I was. He spoke the truth emotion free. It was just not the truth we wanted to hear. Who would? We are all just human.
So, Joe, what do you know has to be done now that everyone is experiencing what you tried to stop?
All my experience of failure has taught me one thing. The HV is epic, and I had to fail to get a start. Humanity has had to experience what I was not allowed to stop. Maybe now you can see why we need my true life story with the information on how Team Humanity works. The HV needs to be explained in so many ways. I don't want this story for any sense of personal gain. Humanity needs this story if they wish to remain. I only wish for humanity to remain fully united with the help of Team Humanity, to really care for us and our existence. We all need to start living in an existence not full of fraud. I have so much to show humanity so that they can be truly free and evolve into a story that is not riddled with shame. The shame I felt after I came out of my first coma. Yes, I had another coma years later, confirming where our current storyline is headed. Details on that lead to many more valuable questions. Like I initially said, this can be a true life trilogy. It all relates to me only wanting to bring fair back for humanity. The one thing Mum brought me up to do that we both agreed on was to care and share. She was a beautiful woman who was lured to her death by the HV unknowingly. And as stated at the end of World War II, humans can't be treated as such underlings again, or else humanity will pay. The only question now is, does humanity want to stop paying for their ignorance? In the sense that I was treated as the underling due to an accident. I knew and said everything that has occurred, from China's virus release, Russia attacking, and America making a mess. All of this and much more I said to an unfortunate high level of ignorance against every word I spoke in 2008. These people truly believing they knew what they were talking about. It was not easy to believe, though I only knew I was speaking what I was raised to speak, the truth. Humanity needs to learn to listen and not just say they will. The error here needs to be seen, as even a mild experience of film gives more understanding of a problem that all humanity share. It will change one's understanding of existence, regardless of belief. None were on the side of the truth, not even science, though they say that is how they learn, I was told. I don't blame anyone for what has happened to humanity. I blame the acceptance of the HV, though it is not a get-out-of-jail-free card, as everyone has it. Existence without the HV feels so what we are naturally meant to be. I have experienced this, and it is the primary reason why shame was my first sense when I left my first coma. Unfortunately, this universe and humanity are HIV infested. I hope my denied miracle is not too late to curve our storyline away from another universal human extinction. Dad, do you, to the best of your knowledge, now know that I have spoken the truth to the degree needed?
Yes. Now I understand what you meant when you said I will regret not investing in gold. I know it was the start of the story, not the main part. I had to be the unanimous star. A friend invested a lot of money in gold and lost badly. He told everyone never to invest in gold. He told Joe many times, and now, knowing what I know, it's like Joe was born into this story.
Thank you.